What's up? What's up? What's up? Amazing, 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 good people from wherever you are watching us from. Yet another new video from Decibel Audio Kenya. Remember, we are your favorite shop when it comes to dealing with music instrument, public address system, and lighting system. We are located at the junction of Luthuli Avenue and Kamai Road. Along Luthuli Avenue, there's a road called Kamai Road. Turn on your left, you will see shop written Decibel Audio Kenya. Come purchase from us, buy from us, and we are going to be very, very, very happy. We have YouTube on this side, we have TikTok on that other side, we have Facebook, Instagram, and all the other socials. Our name is Decibel Audio Kenya. Follow us, subscribe, comment. Any question that you have, we are always willing to answer as we are able to do that. So this is a question that came from one of the viewers, I think on TikTok, and they said, show us the difference or the main differences between a powered mixer and a plain mixer, and what they do, and what are the functionalities, what are the differences, what are the similarities, what are the price ranges. And we are here to do exactly as you have requested. So without further ado, let me introduce the video. The video that we're going to do is comparison, differences, and similarities between a powered mixer on my left, which should be on your right, and on the right hand side, which is on your left hand side, we have a plain or a non-powered mixer. So what is the meaning of a powered mixer and a non-powered mixer? So a powered mixer simply means, like the one that you see right over here, it means that it has a form of an amplifier inside the system that helps to power the speakers that are not powered. All right, so it has a system that is powered in itself, or it has an amplifier inside that it has the ability to power up speakers, but now the powering up of the speakers is limited to the wattage of, or the power of, the mixer itself. While a non-powered mixer on the left hand side or on my right hand side is a plain mixer, or is a non-powered mixer. It does not have an amplifier inside itself, so it depends on an external amplifier to be able to power up speakers which are not powered. All right, so those are the main, that's the main difference as per the word itself, the powered and the non-powered mixers. So what are some of the factors that make a powered mixer the way it is, and what are some of the things that make a plain mixer very unique to the name, or very unique to what characters and personalities and whatever, what makes it so special, or what is the identical day-to-day features that are always likely to be found on a plain mixer and on a powered mixer. So number one, on the powered mixer, you are going to find most of them don't have a lot in terms of features. So they will not give you maximum features. They'll not have so many spices here and there, because they are meant for small events or for small functions. All right, so maximum that it can drive is normally 4 top speakers or 4 mid-range speakers, mostly ranging from 500 watts to 1000 watts, 600 watts if you get bigger powered mixers, to 1200 watts maximum, because most of them range from 1000 watts. You'll get even smaller ones that have 400, 500 watts. You have big ones that has 1500 watts all the way to 3000 watts, because they are dual channels, left and right channels. So this particular one that we see right over here has 2200 watts. So this one is called this one of our products is called, it's a very nice product, it's called Israel Vibration. So Israel Vibration is one of our brands, and it's called VX80. So this is an 8 channels powered mixer. All right, but this particular one has plenty of good features in terms of what do I mean when talk about good features? The inputs, the options in terms of outputs are the main, and then the amount of power the mixer is producing, the amount of fans it has. Like this particular one has 2 fans from behind to be able to help the cooling of the circuit and the cooling of the system that runs this machine. So 2200 watts mean that it can drive 4 speakers comfortably that has 500 watts, because it's 2200 or so about. All right, so these are the main features on this particular mixer. All of them, both plain and powered, will have sliders. All right, so they'll have sliders from the first channel to the last channel. So one thing to note is that when you are being told about the channels, you have to note that some of them will be combined in mono form. So what do I mean? When you have a slider like the number 1 slider, this one is able to give you both left and right because it combines with something called a pan. I'll show you. But this one has stereo, so it's left and right. But then the other mixer that you are going to be hearing that they have 16 channels, they have 20 channels, but then you realize that they don't have complete stereo channels from 1 to 24 or 1 to 16. You'll get it's 1 to 10 stereo channels, then the other ones are combined in mono format where you have left separate as a channel and right as a channel. So this particular one, powered mixer, you have from channel number 1 all the way to channel number 8 having independent channels. So this is what we call a slider on a powered mixer. Still on a plain mixer, they are still called sliders. But among the special features on this particular one is that it has mute functions, unlike so many other powered mixers. Most of the powered mixers you're going to find in the market don't have the mute function. So the mute function is very important. Why is it very important? It's very important because in case you are hearing of distortion, you are hearing noise, you want to know what exact channel is doing, or sometimes you have an input on a channel and maybe whoever has that microphone want to whisper something on your ears, you're always able to mute that channel. Or you want to do any form of operation, you want to hear what the other inputs are sounding like, you can always be able to do that directly. And when you mute this one directly, you are muting from the output, which is the speakers as well. So when you mute this one, you are able to do that. So in case of any accident or incident and you want to do away with any channel, maybe they're making noise, there's plenty of feedback and stuff, you are able to mute it directly, sort it, then bring it back when you have that ability. Then you have the PFL. The PFL button, you're going to find this one in most of the powered mixers. So the PFL functions normally, commercial break. Let's go on. So the PFL, you're going to find it in most of the mixers. Normally this one, when you activate or deactivate it, then you're able to hear the selected sound on your headphones. So when you activate the PFL, you have the ability to listen to that particular channel, but specifically on the headphones. So even if you do the PFL sometimes, and then the PFL sometimes is going to influence the indicators of the signals. The signal indicators is sometimes going to be influenced by the wheelie. Careful with this drum set, it's like it's falling, but okay. All right, so you're going to influence sometimes the indicators that indicate the signals and the levels right over here, but normally it's for listening to the headphones. So then we have these other parameters over here. They're called the controllers, the frequency controllers. So we have the pan function. So the one that I'll mention here and I also found here, I'll not necessarily repeat them from the plain mixer. So we have the pan functions. So the pan function normally is to be able to separate left signal from the right signal, or to balance the left and the right signal. So when you put it towards one end, you're only saying that whatever is coming out of this channel, I want to send it to the left or to the right output alone. But when you put it at the middle right over there, it means that whatever input is coming from this channel going into the speakers is going to be heard on both left and right. Then we have this function which acts as effects. So you have a selector. Okay, so you have a selector that will either make it an effect, and this is when you want to affect a particular channel. You want to add some effect. You are only able to do that when you have activated from the main channel. Then later you're going to activate it from the other outputs as well. So we have the effect, but then it gets activated by a button. So you can either have it as an effect or have it also as auxiliary number 3. So this particular mixer has 3 auxiliaries, 1, 2, and 3. So what are auxiliaries? Auxiliaries are other forms of outputs. Normally, most of the mixers you're going to get have left and right, which I told you is a stereo output. But good mixers now, when you want to know how good a mixer is, most of them will now start giving you auxiliaries, groups, monitor outs. All these are forms of outputs to be able to help you manipulate the amount of outputs that you can have. So this particular one has 3 auxiliaries. So 3 auxiliaries means that you have 3 different outputs apart from the main left and right. Okay, so auxiliaries will send specific signal to auxiliary output, not to the main output. So what are these main outputs? The main outputs are even written over here, main output. So this one will either come in XLR or in jack form, and they all perform the same function. So it depends on the cable that you have or the output that you want. So this one is balanced, this one is not balanced. Okay, then they are being controlled by the left and right faders right over there. So these ones will control the main output. Normally these outputs are used for the front of house. That's why you need the right and the left balances. but you can also use them for your subs as well if you want. But normally, very good for the front of house, because it's not in every situation where you have sub speakers, and most of these pod mixers will not be able to drive your sub speakers in the best way possible. So those are the auxiliaries, and then we have the frequency knobs right over here. So the frequency knobs, as I've always said, is a category of frequencies that are found in sound system, where we have the highs, we have the mid, and we have the lows. So these are forms of frequencies, okay, that make up a complete clean clear sound: high frequency, low frequency, and mid frequency. So this particular mixer is very special because apart from it having the high, the mid, and the low frequency, it also has a frequency determinant. So if the amount of mid that you want to channel out from your outputs, you're able to control it with a frequency selector. So you want to go, the more you go towards the 100 dBs, then you are saying I want more lows on this particular frequency. So it's a mid, so you're able to do the low mid frequency, and you're only able to do that through this knob right over here. So if you want to sharpen your frequency or deepen your frequency, then you have this particular knob right over here. So depending with whatever input that you have put right over there, if you want to have a high mid frequency, then you go towards the 5. Actually the maximum is 8K. So very high frequency. So you're able to manipulate your mid either to go to the high side or to the low side using this particular mid effector frequency. All right, then apart from that, we have the gain that we said is not really our friend. So we said gain always is an afterthought of our signal that is beyond 0 dBs, either on the main sliders, the main sliders, the channel sliders, or the output sliders. You've done 0 dBs and you still don't have sufficient gain. Should always come as an afterthought, and this is where now you increase slowly until you have the desired output. If you're able to manipulate channel number 1, then it goes all the way to channel number 8. So whatever you see here is manipulated on these other channels as well. Then this particular mixer again is very special. It's a pod mixer, but very special because it has functions. It has so many functions that even most plain mixers do not have. Look at this one. This is an amazing feature. It has the 48 volts phantom button on every single channel, while it's a powered mixer. This is magic. This is not your day-to-day mixer. You don't find this one anywhere else. All right, but this particular brand has this is a special function, and you will realize the importance of this function because I'll explain to you. The reason why you have this particular phantom button on every channel is so that when you activate the function, and what's the function first of all? The function of this button is to power up condenser microphones like the one I'm using right now. So if you have a case where you are in a church setup, you are in a club setup, you are in a podcast setup, whatever setup that you are in, and you are using condenser microphones. So condenser microphones are normally studio microphones, podcast microphone, all these microphones that need a plus 48 volts to be able to power it. So they are very powerful, they are very clean, they are very clear, and they give you all the frequencies in their right balances. So you need this particular button to be able to power up the input. All right, if I'm taking the syllabus too fast, you just let me know. So that is the phantom function, and the problem is most of the mixers that you're going to find that has only one phantom button that affects all the other channels is that normally from channel number 2 all the way to number 8, you are not going to be requiring the phantom function. So you end up burning the cartridges of your microphones. So we've had so many people complaining that they are spoiling their wired microphones. They are spoiling so many other things. The keyboards are distorting. It's because you have put up plus 48 more volts to your system just because you needed one channel, because you had a condenser microphone, and then that is a big problem because you find yourself destroying things without knowing what really is the problem. So I have given you a tip. If you still put on your phantom power, you even risk burning up and blowing your speakers because the voltage has increased by 48 volts. But this particular one has button on every channel, so you're able to activate or deactivate as per your requirements. Then there is one button that I forgot here. It's called a low cut button. This particular pod mixer has a low cut button. A low cut button is simply as it says, low cut. So you are cutting out the low frequencies from that channel or reducing the amount by a particular capacity, always indicated on the low cut button. So you are cutting out the low frequencies because mainly probably you have frequencies that do not need any form of low output in them. So you might have regulated from the frequency, you have minimum low output or low frequency, but you still are hearing some low frequencies. So what do? You're able to automatically, let's say for example you have a lead guitar. So a lead guitar, you don't want any low frequencies on it. So you have lowered all the frequencies down there, and you can still do now the low cut because you will have reduced all the amount of low frequencies, only to remain with the mid and the high frequencies. So that's the last button right over there. And then we have an LED indicator right over here, written as peak. So the peak button will always come up when the frequencies you are pumping are more than required. So this is the peak button. It always lights up red when you are distorting a frequency, when you are overdoing a frequency, when you have overdriven the frequency, when the gains are too much. Then this indicator right over here is going to light up and it's going to tell you that it is no longer sending AC currents. It is now sending DC currents, which we said are going to cause distortion and eventually blow up your speakers. So those are the functions. Then you have the inputs right over here. This is a special one. It has both the XLR and the jack acting from the same port. So the round part right over here will accommodate the XLR. Then the inside or right over here will pick up the jack frequencies. Then it has plenty of effects as well on this other side as well. It has plenty of effects. It has how many? It has 128 effects. This is a special pod mixer. 128 effects that you can apply on your microphones, that you can apply on your guitars, on any other thing that you may require. Then this particular mixer again has something called a subwoofer output. This is special because if you have subs and you want to have an output signal, it has a special sub out woofer. So this one is not, if you use this cable to go directly into your non-powered speaker, it will not work. All right, so this one needs to go to either an amplifier, but it's going to have a separate output. So that means you're able to control your outputs separately. So it has this feature called subwoofer, where you're able to send the signal outside, going into your amplifier that's going to support your sub speakers. It has return as many of these mixers has. It has headphones. Normally other mixers as well will have the headphones where you just plug in your headphones and you're able to hear what's happening. But that's after you press the PFL. It has both the auxiliaries from 1, 2 and 3 auxiliaries. We had said, as you are saying, the USB. So the USB function is where you have your music. You can play back your music through this function right over here, and the button right over here as well. You get your USB to PC. You're also able to connect your PC through this channel as well. So it will act as a USB for playback and also for connecting to your PC as well. That will work perfectly. If you have Bluetooth, it has Bluetooth as well. It has a graphic equalizer that has how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 equalizers for both left and right, and has so many things. Phones, the indicators here, we have effects, and then we have this, the channel for the MP3. So this is where you're able to control your MP3 or the USB function from this particular channel. Then you have auxiliary 1, auxiliary 2 from this particular knobs over here. Then you have these letters as well, controlling the left and right indicator. So these are the LED indicators. Then you have all these things. You can either activate or deactivate the equalizer. You have this button over here. If you want it to go flat, it will go flat as per the settings of the mixer. But if you want to activate, if you believe in your own equalization, then you activate by this button and you're able to equalize for your own self. So what are some of the limitations for this particular mixer if you want to compare it with this other one? I want to go very fast because I don't want to make the video very, very long. Look at first of all the amount of the frequency that is starting as a low, because now if you have 7 of them, you again divide them by 3. So you have these 2 controlling the low frequencies, you have these 3 controlling the mid frequency, and then the last 2 controlling the high frequencies. But then come very close and check and check the amount of hertz that you are starting from. You are starting from a whooping 63 hertz frequency. So 63 hertz is way after the lowest frequency that we were talking about, like yesterday when we looked at the equalizer that has a beginning of, was it 20? Yes, we were starting at 20 from the normal 231 equalizer. You are starting at 20 hertz. So that means there are so many frequencies that you miss out if you're going to use this one with a powered, if you're going to use the powered mixer as a source of output. Even if you have a low speaker or a bass speaker coming out from the power itself, then you're still going to miss. I was about to say to hatter. So you're going to miss a lot of frequencies that you get from the equalizer. So this one is just to be able to do the part, and normally they'll recommend these ones for mid speakers alone, but not really for heavy or for sub speakers. So that is it with the powered mixer. At the back right over here, we just have 2 fans. Then we have 4 connectors where you plug in your speakers, and then we have the power cable. You don't necessarily have to go back there, but that is it with the powered mixer. So this particular one is a special one because it has so many factors, but again the limitation is always the issue of power. Let's wind up with the plain mixer. What makes a plain mixer so special? It has crazy massive features. So if you get a good plain mixer, it will give you plenty of all that we've said from this particular one. This one must have and even more. So what's different from the plain mixer with this special powered mixer? From here you see there's something called a pad. This is where you are able to increase or decrease the amount of frequency going in. You're able to cut it or to increase it by 26 dBs. Okay, so this is a special feature that you do not see on the other one. Then we have gains. The gains here are a bit regulated because the gain here is running from 20 dBs all the way to plus 64, right? Then this other one was giving us a whooping plus 60 dBs. So this one is crazy in terms of the gain is too much, which sometimes is not really very good. So this particular one is a bit more regulated, that is in gain. Then this one has a particular special feature. Not all the plain mixers will have this feature. This feature is called a compressor. So what does a compressor do? A compressor attempts to pick all the high, the overdone frequencies and tries to bring them to the level that is on a normal working ground as per the other frequencies. So it will try to bring down all the dirty frequencies or all the crazy hard frequencies that are pumping beyond the recommended limits, especially the kick of a drum set. So if you put the compressor on, you are telling the kick, come down, slow down, come to the level of other fellas in terms of the inputs. Or still be able to lift up frequencies that are very weak by nature. So it will also try to lift up. And now that frequency feature, a compressor feature is one that is very important because a mixer should help you mix frequencies and give out clear sound. So if you need every gun in use, you need every function in use to be able to mix and give out a mix that is clean and very clear. So a compressor function will do that work. Then it has the high function, the mid function, the frequency function as well as the one that we saw on the powered mixer. So the frequency function, we said it's able to direct this particular input to either more of lows or to either more of highs, to give it a low mid or to give it a high mid frequency. Then it has a low functions. Then this one has more auxiliary. It has 1 auxiliary, 2, 3, and 4. So this particular one has 4 different auxiliaries. It has pan function, and it has a mute function and an unmute function as well. That is more clear than the other one because you're able to see, because it lights up directly from this button. The other one does not light up. So this one lights up from this button when you put it on. And then it has something that's very important that the other one did not have. It has indicators or selectors of where you want your frequency to go. Where do you want frequency number 1 to go? Or the output of number 1 or the input of number 1? Where do you want it to go? So if you want it to go to group, if you want to go to auxiliary 1, auxiliary 2, to the main left and right, you're able to do that through this selection of this button right over here. So if you select or deselect, it means that you want this frequency to go or not to go to that particular output. All right, then you have a beautiful slider right over here that's ranging from minus something all the way to plus 10 dBs. Then it has the PFL again, as we said, if you want to listen through the headphones, then you have that function right over here. So all these are inputs. These are 16 channels. It's one of our brands as well. It's called the Christian Heritage. It's a beautiful, beautiful mixer. All right. So what else is there? We have Phantom button. This one is affecting from channel number 1 all the way to channel number 12 stroke number 13. Then the other ones are not affected by the Phantom functions. All right. So that's a special feature as well. If you want to affect, then you're able to affect some, and then you're not going to affect the other channels as well. What else am I leaving out? The outputs are crazy. We have effects. If you have any effect on any channel, you have a slider for itself. This one has groups as well. Group number 1, group number 2, 3, and 4. Apart from the auxiliaries, we also have the groups, which will now be controlled from here. We have group 1 and 2, group 3 and 4, and then we have the stereo output. All of them you can able to activate or deactivate from this button right over here. And this thing has even the monitor outputs. Auxiliaries controllers are right over here. You have the LED indicators are whooping so many effects for your guitars, for your microphones, USB input as well, LED lights. You have the Bluetooth, you have effects, you have so many things. Monitor out, you have left and right for the monitor specifically. You have the main left and right, you have auxiliaries, and then you have the group outs as well. So this one is quite something as well. So there's nothing at the back here, just the power cable. So the clarity, because the clarity will come from the ability of the functions that have been provided, will always be more sometimes from the plain mixers than the powered mixers. So this one is where you connect with your equalizer, crossover, then it goes to the amplifiers, and you're able to put as many amplifiers as you can. So that's when you have commercial use or you want clean, clear sound, you probably go for the plain mixer. So basically that is with it with the plain mixer and the powered mixers. I do not want to make the video very long, but I hope I've answered whoever had asked that question, the main differences and the similarities between the powered mixers and the plain mixers. So normally powered mixers will tend to be cheaper because they don't have a lot of functionalities. They've not put up so many elements. So plain mixers will always tend to be more expensive than the powered mixers. Powered mixers, we've said, is for small events most of the times because of the work that it can do. So that is it. Decibel Audio Kenya, Nairobi, Mombasa. Get in touch with us. We are glad and we are happy to bring you more videos, more amazing videos, as we call it a day, as we call it a night, as we call it whatever. From wherever you are watching us from, comment, subscribe, ask us questions. We are always willing to answer them as they come. So cheers, guys, from YouTube, Facebook, all socials. Remember, we said it's Decibel Audio Kenya. Our number 0724-317. No, that's not our number. Sorry, that's my number. Our number is 0792-048-380. I almost gave you my number. All right, then we have our website www.decibelaudiokenya.co.ke. Follow us, like our comments, and that is it. Cheers, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. See you next time. Bye-bye.